What is good, everyone? It's Paul here, and for today's video I'm going to be recommending 10 must-own JRPGs for the Nintendo Switch. And the first one that I have to talk about is Fire Emblem Three Houses. And this game, in my opinion, is one of the best games, period, for the Nintendo Switch. This game has an amazing story, amazing character writing, great presentation with phenomenal voice acting, awesome animated cutscenes, and another great thing that it has going for it is that it does have a really good strategy turn-based battle system. And this game is approachable for anyone. If you want to play it on easy, casual, you can, but it also does have a really difficult but very fun hard classic mode where if your characters die, they will die permanently, and it really adds a lot to the turn-based battle system. It really makes every battle feel like it's high stakes, but you don't have to play that way if you don't want to. But that is one thing that the Fire Emblem series is known for. And this game is probably my favorite Nintendo Switch game of all time. And if you've never played a strategy RPG, I definitely recommend starting with this game, because even if you're not a huge fan of the strategy turn-based combat, I'm pretty sure that the story and the characters in this game will win you over, as well as the phenomenal soundtrack. The second game that I wanted to make sure that I recommend on this list is Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore. And the reason why I wanted to recommend this game early on is because the physical copy, if you're a physical collector, is definitely getting harder to come by, and it looks like it's also becoming more rare and expensive as well. But this game is just a really good JRPG anyway. It has a great battle system. It has that press turn battle system that the Shin Megami Tensei and Persona games are known for, and this game was originally marketed as a crossover between Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem, but it turned out to be its own thing. It does have some Fire Emblem characters making guest appearances in here, and it takes the battle system from SMT. But the theme of this game, it has like this pop culture idol thing going on, but it's really cool, has a great soundtrack. But one thing to know about this game is that it does not have English voice acting. It's all in Japanese, but the story is still good. Even just reading the subtitles, it made me laugh quite a bit. The characters are quite humorous. This is another story-driven game, has a lot of dialogue, but the battle system is really fleshed out and good in this game as well. And it also does have some really good visuals for an early Nintendo Switch port, as this game was originally on the Wii U, and this one gives you all the DLC and everything for free. Next up is a JRPG that I can easily recommend for anyone to own on the Nintendo Switch, and that game is Super Mario RPG. This game has a really fun battle system as you use these action button commands. If you press them at the right time, you can do extra damage to your enemies, and you can also dodge attacks. And this game just has really good visuals, really good music, some funny story writing, a pretty good story, memorable characters, memorable scenes, and it's just a lot of fun to play. And it also is beginner friendly, but it still does provide a good enough challenge. And another thing about this game is that it's kind of one of those bite-sized JRPGs, as you can beat this game between like 12 to 15 hours. So if you're looking to play something on the shorter side, this is definitely a great recommendation. And also, if you're looking to see where the Super Mario RPG games all started from, well, this is the first one ever. This is the faithful remake of the Super Nintendo Super Mario RPG, and I cannot recommend this game enough. In my opinion, the next game that I'm going to recommend might be the greatest monster collecting JRPG of all time, and that game is Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. Now, I'm about 30 hours in on this game, and I can say that it is vastly improved from the original version that was on the Nintendo Switch. This game does run significantly better and even looks significantly better than the original version. In fact, I saw someone this morning post some screenshots on Twitter comparing this to their PC version, which is at 1440p, and it looked very comparable. This game does look really good on the Nintendo Switch, but I would recommend that you play this game wherever you want to, wherever you can. But just wanted to mention that. And also, the story in this game is definitely greatly improved from the original. As I mentioned, I still am early on in this game, but I'm already really wanting to see how the story unfolds, and the new character that is added into this game does make a big difference. The story has me actually caring about the characters this time around, and it also just has that same addictive, really tough but really fun turn-based combat battle system. But there are easy modes for people who don't want the hard JRPG experience. And another fun thing about this game is that it is open-ended. You have these open areas that are vast and a lot of exploration, and it also has a lot of side quests for those who want that as well, but you don't have to do those. This game is just jam-packed with content and is a ton of fun, and is one of my favorite Nintendo Switch games of all time, and I just cannot wait to continue playing and see how the story unfolds in this improved, definitive version of Shin Megami Tensei 5. Now, I've been recommending all turn-based JRPGs so far, so I do want to make sure that I put some good action RPGs on this list, and a great recommendation for that is Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. This game runs great and looks great on the Nintendo Switch. It has a lot of nice, vibrant colors in the art style, and it looks amazing on a Nintendo Switch OLED. And this game is a big adventure RPG. You're going from town to town, seeing different places, and the action combat in this game is really good, but you do have to be a little bit patient with it, because basically, the more you progress in this game, the more different action moves you will unlock for your party. So when you start off, it does seem kind of bare bones, but the further you get, the more fun it gets, and it is a lot of fun. Now, I will mention that this game is a bit grindy though, so you will be grinding it out a lot in battles, trying to level up your characters to progress, but it is a lot of fun. And for those who want that big, long JRPG experience, this game has that for you. And to this date, this game is the best Tales of game that we have gotten on the Nintendo Switch, one that I would highly recommend for anyone looking for a good action JRPG. Another great action JRPG for the Nintendo Switch that I highly recommend is Neo: The World Ends With You. This game has a phenomenal action combat system. Basically, you get these things called pins, which set a move to your party member, and each party member has a different button assigned to that pin. So controlling the different buttons controls different party members in the battles, and you want to link up and do these chained attacks, which then you build up your special meter and you get to do this big special attack with. But this game is just a lot of fun. The visuals in this game are really unique. It kind of has that comic book style to it with the cel-shaded graphics. And also the soundtrack in this game is really good as well. It has that punk rock type of soundtrack, which I'm not even the biggest fan of that genre, but it does sound really good in this game. They did a really great job with that, with the presentation, the visuals, the music, the gameplay, everything. The story is pretty good. It's nothing out of this world, but it is a solid story. And this is just a really fun action RPG on the Nintendo Switch. Now, the next game on this list is a bit underrated in my opinion, because this game has one of the most fleshed out and best turn-based battle systems that I have ever played in a JRPG, and that game is Bravely Default 2. This game also does have a lot going for it, with a really good soundtrack and really good visuals. Now, admittedly, when this game was coming out and I saw it being promoted, I absolutely hated that chibi art style that they went for in this game. But the more I played it and got into the game, it grew on me. So I would definitely not let that keep you away from this game. If you're into classic JRPGs that have a lot of depth to the battle system, this is kind of like a classic Final Fantasy type JRPG, but it is its own thing as well. And another thing that this game has going for it is that it is a really long JRPG as well, so you will definitely get your money's worth out of it. but just keep in mind that it is a bit grindy as well, so it has that old school kind of grind to it. It has that classic job system. If you don't know what the job system is, basically different classes, so you can be like, you know, physical attacker, a mage, a healer, a dark mage, a light mage, all kind of stuff like that. And this game does have a pretty good story going for it as well, and it's just one of the greatest JRPGs that I have ever played, honestly. One that I would highly recommend. Do not sleep on this one. Another JRPG that is a bit underrated in my opinion is Fire Emblem Engage. Now, this game gets a lot of crap for supposedly having a really bad story, but honestly, the story is not that bad at all. It does have a solid story, and it does have some memorable characters. Now, admittedly, I feel like the story and characters aren't as well written as Fire Emblem Three Houses is, but that's not what they were going for this game. This game has some of the greatest visuals ever on the Nintendo Switch. The colors look amazing, especially on an OLED TV or Nintendo Switch OLED, but the gameplay is really where this game shines. This just goes back to the classic Fire Emblem structure of going kind of from battle to battle. The story still goes on in between, but it's not that life sim heavy like Fire Emblem Three Houses was. But the gameplay in this game really does shine so bright. It is absolutely amazing with the emblem transformations that they do, and the attack animations also look amazing in this game. If you want one of the best first-party games, period, for the Nintendo Switch, then this game is definitely a must-own and one that you do not want to sleep on. My next recommendation on this list is a true JRPG hidden gem, and that game is Blue Reflection Second Light. This game has gorgeous, vibrant, colorful visuals, a really good turn-based battle system, and it's just one of those kind of cozy JRPGs that still has that classic JRPG feel to it as well. It does have a pretty good story, a lot of dialogue with the character conversations in this game, and you do have some exploration in these kind of linear but a little bit open areas that you go to in this game as well. And it also does have a bit of crafting. This is made by the same developers as the Atelier games, like Atelier Ryza. And this is just one that I highly recommend if you're looking for more of that hidden gem style game, and one that might become possibly rare and expensive for the physical copy as well. Now, I am going to wrap this list up with a definite must-own phenomenal action JRPG, and that game is Ys Origin. The combat in this game is just so fun and so addictive. You're just gonna want to keep slaying different enemies, and the big boss battles that you face in this game are a lot of fun as well. You fight these huge giant monsters in this game for the boss battles, and they can be a bit challenging to overcome, but once you do overcome them, you're just gonna feel so satisfied that you were able to get through that. This game also has a lot of replayability with 3 different characters that you can run the story in, and the main character Unica fights with action combat, and the other main character Hugo fights with magic, so he's just like throwing out magic attacks. And there is also a secret third character that you get to unlock as well after you beat the game with both of them. It also does have different difficulty levels, but I don't recommend playing on hard unless you're really good at action RPGs, because I played on hard and could not get past that final boss battle, had to restart the game again on normal mode. But this game also does have a really good story and is a really good place to start the Ys series. It also has that top-down isometric art style, which kind of reminds me of the old school Legend of Zelda games. And this game does have a linear gameplay loop, but it is fun just going from different area to area. You're basically going up this tower to get to the top, and this is just one that I cannot recommend enough. So if you watched this video until the end, I just want to say thank you so much. Please hit that like button and subscribe for more JRPG and Nintendo Switch content. Until the next video, peace.